Hi guys, I'm Bunny. I have done a lot of Genshin Impact fan art in the past few months, but about 2 months ago, I got a comment on a YouTube short asking if I have ever submitted an art piece to the competitions that Hoyoverse does. I have not, but after seeing this comment, I wanted to as soon as possible. A while later, I noticed there was an art contest going on. Just one problem, the deadline was in 2 days. No way I could draw a full illustration in that amount of time, so I decided to wait for the next contest. But well, I miss it too. But finally, about 2 weeks ago, I noticed there was another contest going on, and there was still a bunch of time left. The drawing for the contest had to feature tribal styles or saurian elements related to the content in Genshin Impact 5.0 version and had to include Genshin Impact characters. I have to confess one thing though. I haven't played the new region Natlan yet, and I don't really know anything about Genshin Impact despite drawing so much fan art for it. I don't know if I'm just dumb or can't English, but I don't understand what tribal styles or saurian elements mean, so I just assumed it meant culture. I spent a while going through Genshin Impact social medias, searching for inspiration, because I didn't really feel like waiting forever for the new updates to download. And then I remembered this drawing of Paimon and Xiangling I did in June. Disclaimer, I'm trying my best to pronounce the names of characters, but I can barely speak my first language, so please don't kill me if I fuck up the names. I started making thumbnail sketches for the ideas I had so I could test out how well they would work. In the first idea I had, Kachina and Moalani are eating some food from Natlan, and Xiangling is interrupting them because she's excited about the new food. I also had an idea where Tepetli sour sours would be pointing at some crystals and Kachina would be drilling them. And in the background, you could see the canyon and dancers. Now looking at it, I think the second idea could have looked better, but I really wanted to draw Moalani, Xiangling, and food, so I went with the first idea. I usually like more dynamic drawings, but I wanted to keep the kind of calm vibe, I guess. I started to be very busy at this point, so sketching took way longer than it was supposed to. I thought I had a lot more time, so I took a few days off from working on this. I don't make a cleanup sketch very often, but I decided to do it for this one because I wanted to make it good. The cleanup sketch doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to, around the face, make it as neat as possible because I won't delete that part of it. It took forever though since Genshin Impact characters are so detailed. I fill in the sketch with light grey so I see where the characters will be in the background, but don't color them yet. Making the background first will make it easier to make the characters fit in the environment. Since Kachina and Moalani have light hair and Xiangling has dark, I made the mountains go behind Kachina and Moalani and the clouds behind Xiangling to add contrast. After I have kinda made the background, I start coloring the characters. I can make the colors more vibrant to make the drawing look more cute and happy. I try not to go overboard though, to still keep the drawing looking calm. I first add the base colors, and if something has a pattern, I only add it afterwards. I like to add a subtle gradient to the hair to make it look a bit more interesting even if the character doesn't have it. By adding blush to the character's face and joints, make the skin look much more alive and not muddy. I also like to add some eyeshadow, depending on the character. Before I started rendering the characters, I added a little bit more things to the background, like animals and trees. I added some light blue with an airbrush to the mountains to push them behind more and make it look like the sky is reflecting blue light to them. I also at this point drew the food. I tried making the food look quite similar to the one in the games. I wanted to make some changes, like some food already being eaten. I wanted to use mostly warm colors because I guess warm colors are something that makes people hungry. I am not sure if that's true, but well, I know the plates are not perfectly in perspective, but I really started to be running out of time at this point, so I didn't have time to care for that. I colored the characters fully with blue, but I decided to change it later to a more purplish blue to make the characters look warmer. I made the light come from the front because I wanted the light source to be the sun. Choosing a direction where the light is coming is important, keep the lighting looking consistent. I turned the layer on multiply and start erasing where the light would hit. I have the colors on multiple layers, so it's easier to select parts of it while shading. I usually do one layer at a time when making shadows, but since I had limited time, I first made the lighter shadows on the parts that I had selected, and right away did the darker ones. But I would recommend first doing the lighter shadows, and then only after you have all that done, then making darker ones. I feel like I kind of have a same face syndrome, so I really tried to make them look at least a little bit different by changing their eye shapes. I wanted to give them all different eyelids, which is something I don't do much. I should definitely. I really tried to make the textures in the drawing look different by changing how much something reflects light. I'm not so sure how well that turned out, but I tried a little bit different style on the hair than usual, and I think that turned out well too. It does look a little bit crazy, if you ask me, but please tell me your opinions on that in the comments. Or when I was finally done with the shadows, I had completely forgot about the irises. So at this point I made them more detailed and added the pupils. I started adding highlights to the drawing, first starting from the hair because I simply like doing the hair. I made the highlights blue because I wanted to make it look like the sky was reflecting blue light to the hair. I also added some highlights to the face and all the metallic or just shiny in general objects. After that, on a color layer, I add orange between the lights and the shadows to make the characters look more alive. I also deleted the cleanup sketch, except I left the face and the hair around the face, because I like to keep it to make it look more defined and draw your eyes into that part of the drawing. I also at this point add eyelashes. It's one of my favorite parts since I think it just adds a lot to the face. Some people might think I draw too many eyelashes, but I just like the way it looks. At this point, there was less than an hour before the contest was gonna end, so I really had to rush this. And well, I managed to post the drawing 1 minute before the contest submission time ended, and well, this is what I managed to get done. The drawing was not done, I had to rush it. I wasn't proud of it at all, and I think I could have done much better if I had much more time. But I took a while from the drawing after I had posted it because I wanted to add a lot of effects like sparkles and dust particles and light beams, but I had only time to make them quickly, which I think just made the drawing worse. So after a few hours, I decided to get back into drawing and delete some parts of it, and I finished it up. I added some effects and changed the tones a little bit with a tone curve layer, added the sparkles and whatever effects I wanted to, and this was what I got done. I think it looks much better than the version I submitted. I to be honest don't think I'm gonna win. I'm a bit disappointed in the drawing, not gonna lie, especially the version of it that I managed to submit. Also, after the contest had been done, I noticed that the drawing had to be under 5 megabytes, and I'm pretty sure mine was way over that. I don't pass the criteria, so I don't think it's possible for me to win. So we already have the conclusion. I did not win. That's fine. I think the drawing turned out alright, and I learned some things from this. And now looking at the drawing, there's a lot of things I like about it. And one goal for me was that Xianglin didn't look as creepy as she did in the old drawing. And I think I definitely managed to do that. Also, the food looks pretty good, if you ask me. Thank you so much for watching, and by the way, I have commissions open and I just lowered my prices a little bit. Have a nice day or night or whatever time you're watching this at. Bye!